Spoilers follow, and be sure to check the description for content warnings.
Tested positive, how could this be? Only had one partner sexually, and now I will need healthcare. Let you know that you're a NAIDS scare. You're a NAIDS scare. You're out there somewhere with Caspar, probably out in some little girl's car. You jump guys in the park, you're quite the pair. Ask if you're around, they stop and stare. 'Cause I'm looking for telly. I'm trying to stop the spread of HIV. He's such a little hoe, that nasty skeeve. Wild oats he's sown. Wild oats he's sown. Wild oats he's sown. And that was Everywhere by Michelle Branch.
Yeah. Jesus. Everything about this is painful.
It's only going to hurt a little more.
Yeah, we just started. Tonight, we relive some trauma from the 90s and explore our nostalgia for a deviation of the boring old narrative format into a constructed cringe presented as verite. So take a bracing swig of warm malt liquor from the bottle you found next to the guy passed out by the toilet and join us for 1995's Kids. And welcome to the Nostalgia Killers podcast, where we revisit films from our youth to see if they still hold up or should be inserted into the great DVD player in the sky. I'm Luc Londe, joined almost as always by Chuck Starzenski.
That's right, it's Chuck Starzenski, the friendly ghost, the dopest ghost you know.
Oh, Jesus. And our special guest, Dante.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast, Dante.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for choosing Kids.
It's... Oh, my God.
I just want to get this up front. This was Dante's choice.
Can I tell the story?
Yeah, you may tell the
go
story.
for it.
Okay, so the reason that I'm here and the reason that Kids was chosen, per my understanding, I had not seen Kids. I saw Gummo when I was like 17. I know about Harmony Korine's career. I was at a flea market in San Francisco. I found a bunch of really cool VHS tapes. I found a VHS tape of Kids. I felt like it was like my Grail tape for a minute, and I hadn't watched it, and I no longer feel that way. But so, yeah, I bumped into Chuck after not seeing him for a while and asked him if he wanted to watch Kids with me, and now here we are.
And be sure to stick around for the end of our show for our Sonic Death Monkey Top 5, where we talk about our top 5 uncomfortable watches.
Boy, howdy, were they uncomfortable.
Boy. And including, I wanted to put this one 5 times.
Oh, yeah. It's just Kids. I think when I first texted Dante the prompt, he was like, can I just put every Harmony Korine movie? Is that just it?
Yeah.
I picked some good ones, I think. Some like classy, uncomfortable movies. Yeah.
Nice. And we start with Act 1. What does this movie mean to you?
Yeah.
I think we covered, is that? It's just a car going by.
Yeah, it's a car going by.
I thought that was the new soundtrack to the podcast, but so since Dante hasn't seen it,
yeah,
I hadn't seen it before this.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
what do you got, Chuck?
Yeah, I'll just jump in. So I saw this when I was 15. This movie was a rite of passage when I was a teenager. Like, this was a quintessential, bro, you haven't seen Kids? You got to see Kids. It's like the gnarliest, most fucked up movie ever. And, I had just seen Gummo recently at the time, and Harmony Korine was my guy, unfortunately, because I was 15 and I was a little edgelord.
Totally.
But I remember liking the movie when I first saw it, but also feeling this utter sense of nausea and dread immediately after. I'd never seen anything so raw and visceral and like similar to some of the things neighborhood kids and myself vicariously were going through. Not so much the sex stuff, but just the unsupervised self-destruction.
Yeah.
And also, I am such a dork that I remember taking notes during the blunt rolling scene because I was having issues rolling blunts and joints. And I was like, oh, he's giving me the formula, and then just like it's cut so fast and stuff that I was like, oh, I'm missing something still. This is not landing with me.
That scene is literally in my notes. I was wondering if this movie is like where people learned how to do that.
It is.
Okay.
At least like suburban white children.
That's what I was thinking, because I remember seeing people, like I grew up in Windsor, a suburb north of Santa Rosa. I remember seeing people doing exactly what was happening in Kids in like 2004.
There just seemed to be a lot more saliva involved.
There was a lot of saliva, yeah.
But this movie came out when I was 15. I did not see it at the time, but some friends of mine at high school had seen it, and I know this movie through osmosis, basically. And I watched it maybe 10 years after that from Netflix, renting it on DVD. Watched it by myself as a dare. It's like, I remember this. This is supposed to be fucking awesome and crazy and weird and like, yeah, it was all those things. Watching it again this time around, which was hard to find, by the way. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I had to find it on
my new
Archived. Oh, no, I don't know if it's illegal. I don't think it is.
I just want to say thank you for pointing out this new resource to me, because I started watching a whole bunch of other movies on there.
Okay, never mind. I found it very clinically.
It's on, it's on the internet.
It's on the internet somewhere.
Anyways, I don't know if I had like an augmented audio version, but all of the kissing and stuff, I watched it with headphones, so I was right there with them like the whole fucking time. Every time there was making out going on.
I was forced to watch it with headphones because I told my wife we were doing this for the podcast, and she told me to fuck off. Yeah, and so I had to watch this in the dark by myself with headphones in the corner.
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should.
Maybe the audio on the VHS that I watched like didn't have the like kissing to it, so we had two different audio experiences.
Maybe.
I did notice they all kiss like they're trying to like eat each other.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of I'm 15 and I have a video camera.
Yeah.
Now kiss and make out for 10 minutes.
The bummer is I'm 45 and have a video camera and no kiss and make out.
Should I talk about my association?
Yes, please.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that I haven't seen Kids, or I hadn't until last Saturday morning at 8 a.m., which is a terrible decision. I did see Gummo when I was about 17. I remember really liking it and then being really curious about Harmony Korine. I didn't see any of his other work until this weekend. I decided to do a deep dive. I did see Spring Breakers and The Beach Bum a couple of years ago. I don't really feel like that's within like his oeuvre, like his like normal filmography, because his other stuff is so just like off the wall. But yeah, so that's I don't have that like particular nostalgia for it. I do know a lot of people who have watched it, described it as like awful, and kind of similarly told me to like fuck off. They like hate that movie, Yeah, it's quintessential edgelord cinema.
Oh yeah,
my association with it.
Yeah.
It's the video equivalent of Dancing with the Devil by Immortal Technique.
Yeah, so I watched it probably in 2004 or 5. This is back before the internet was like as big as it is now, and everybody knows everything and everything goes viral and you see all this stuff. Can't imagine what this movie would have done if it came out, yesterday.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's really hard to imagine a film like this coming out now. I mean, especially within like the streaming era and the way that like indie movies are existing within the film industry versus like blockbuster stuff. I think this movie is like of a very specific era. I also think that like the critical reception to the film is like very specific to the 90s.
Yeah.
I was thinking about other movies that have this like children getting into scrapes and weird sexualization stuff going on, A lot of movies in like the 90s that were like kind of into that, unfortunately.
I dare say it, but most nostalgic scenes, memorable?
Yeah, so my nostalgic memorable scenes are all my nitpicks. As far as favorite scenes, I just went with the palatable stuff. My favorite, most palatable scene is Jenny's conversation with the cabbie.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's just like, it's like a nugget of optimism in this ugly, ugly, deeply hateful movie.
Yeah.
That scene I also really liked, but I did find like he even says something kind of weirdly sexualizing of her, like in that moment, you know.
I was waiting for him to say, "Why don't you smile?" Yeah, I was waiting for that moment. It's like I don't remember that part of the movie. I guess I've only watched it once, or twice, after this last one.
Yeah, but like even in moments like that, you can't escape like the sleaze of the film.
Yeah, and after having been in New York for a good half a year now, it's like that's just how it is.
Ugh.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and it's like the mentality still exists there. It's fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
But yeah, this as far as the most nostalgic and memorable scenes for me, this entire movie exists as little tiny nightmares.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
That I think I remember of having. The skateboard fight is very memorable to me. I thought it was done very well. At the first time I watched it, I was like, that's a strangely well done fight scene. Yeah, no, not much else. Like Tully, if I saw that guy, I'd punch him in the fucking face today. Like,
Oh yeah.
no matter how old he is, if he was still 15 years old, I'd fucking knock him out.
Something interesting I learned in researching this movie is that when AFI did their like top 100 greatest cinema villains, Telly was nominated for that.
Okay.
But was denied it, which I have some very interesting thoughts on, I think.
I don't have anything good to
Yeah, I was
say.
gonna say, do you have any favorite or positive scenes,
Move on to
Dante?
the negatives.
Do I have any favorite positive scenes from this film? I don't have any positive scenes from this movie. Let's see. I think that like there's this thing that happens in this movie that's like edgelord efficiency is like kind of how I think about it, where there's a moment where something's happening and then the writing doubles up on how like fucked up it is. So there's the scene where Casper is looking at Telly's mom and she's breastfeeding. And she's also smoking a cigarette as she's breastfeeding, and Casper is checking her out as she's breastfeeding. And that's not a positive scene. That's not a scene I enjoy, but like it made me think of like the Fast and the Furious movies. Like it's doubling up on like its content in a way that's like exponentially awful. So I don't know. I think that's hilarious in some ways. It's also terrible.
I'll leave this section with one last final. I like it when the kids are just, when they're hanging out but not being awful. So it's more or less like little 15-second increments.
Yeah.
So like I would say my only other second favorite scene is when they're hanging out in the park prior to the assault of the African-American gentleman. And they, they're like smoking weed and they teach us how to roll a blunt. And they're having like kind of a more positive, like little, we're just skateboarding and hanging out and shooting the shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's like, I don't know. It's just very grounded and very like, oh yeah, this is just children, socializing and having a good time.
Totally. At the moment or the scenes early on when the kids are like sitting around talking about sex, I also thought were like kind of okay. They kind of are just like kids shooting the shit, It's still gross, it's still objectifying, but like that was very reminiscent of some stuff that like I saw when I was a teenager.
Sure. I thought that was very well represented as far as that kind of conversation that happens at that age.
Totally.
And then the juxtaposition going between the scenes, between the boys and the girls.
Yeah.
It's pretty smart. I can give it that credit.
Yeah, it's kind of showing like the way that like boys and girls in that age are like siloed and have completely different understandings of like what is going on with their sexuality and like the sexual interactions that they're having.
Yeah, it was, it's not all bad, I guess.
Yeah. Well, now on to the next hour of the podcast, nitpicks.
Well, right before we get there, I was going to say, like, I tried so hard writing my script to be positive and to have some kind of value for this movie. So that's going to be my my running theme throughout this whole show.
Right, trying to be, what's the angel's advocate?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, nitpicks and fixes.
Yeah, who wants to go first?
Okay, I have a list.
I do too.
I can get mine out of the way real quick.
The first thing I have written down is Jesus, I don't know, scrap the entire thing and make a book of photography.
Yeah.
What's
fair.
yours, Luke?
Well, no, let's get into that. Let's who's this? Larry? Is it Larry Clark?
Larry Clark, yeah.
Yeah. Not to get into the trivia much, but
No.
I didn't know who this was.
Yeah, he's a semi-famous, famous now obviously because of kids, more infamous than famous, but he was a famous photographer at the time who would do these basically kind of slice of life pieces of photography. His most famous work is called Tulsa. And so he was hanging out with like gutter punks and people on the skids and stuff like that in Tulsa and photographing them in black and white. And yeah, hanging out with like a lot of like junkies and homeless folk and things like that. And just basically kind of showing the ugly side of, middle America, basically.
Right.
And, it's like, obviously that work, it speaks leaps and bounds, but it's also still very exploitive. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay.
But that's kind of what led to him doing this project.
Well, and my understanding is that Harmony Korine was like a 19-year-old skateboarder at the time. I don't know where they met, but he's like from San Francisco. He's not even like a New York kid.
Yeah.
But he like explicitly asked Harmony Korine to like write a screenplay about teenagers having sexual experiences and some kind of like HIV encounter. And Harmony Korine was like, I've been waiting to write this story.
Hell yeah, he had. Also, spoiler alert, I tried. I hit every possible side of the algorithm and search engine. Just really tried to optimize. Could not find any actual evidence of Larry Clark being a predator other than just being a fucking creep. He's got like at least as far as the internet's concerned, he's got a clean slate as far as like assault and like problematic behavior.
Okay. That's like a good note to know. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's like L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, exactly. He's just a pervert. That's apparently.
Got in before the internet hit. Just
exactly.
like squeaked by. Yeah.
Lord.
My only nitpick is actually a nitpick on myself. I didn't bother to write anything down for the movie because I know you guys would handle it. But a couple episodes ago, I had never heard the phrase, "Can I fuck with it?"
Oh.
Before like 2010. But Steven says it in this movie when he goes to ask for the blunt.
Oh. Yeah.
And I was like, I never heard that phrase that old.
You think it started with kids, perhaps?
Possible. I have no idea now because I thought my frame of reference is way off. So I just wanted to point out, correct myself from a previous episode, and I'm going to bow out from now.
Well, I'll just jump right into the deep end of the pool, and I'll say the biggest nitpick of this film is the fucking assault of Jenny at the end is so goddamn unnecessary. It is a tacked on little thing that happens almost like, I get it. It's like a kind of, moral panic sort of like, okay, like anybody can catch it, yada, yada. But the way it's done is so misogynistically framed and shitty and just, she already has HIV. Like, what point are we trying to make? Like, other than just like, don't, be careful be careful who you hang out with, be careful where you sleep, be careful where, all of that stuff. Like,
be careful who you sexually assault. Yeah.
Exactly. That too is like so problematic.
Yeah, fucking hell, man.
And then to have the last sentence of the film, like, just literally be, oh, dude, what happened?
Yeah.
Is like so, like, edgelord tongue in cheek that it negates whatever, like, big point they were trying to make.
Yeah.
It's just, fuck the ending of this film.
Are we all aware that Harmony Korine founded, like, Edgelord Production Company? That's, like, it's literally a title that he has adopted. That relates to, like, my second point. Like, I kind of spoke to, like, finding the edgelord efficiency like vibe that I got off of this movie like kind of funny in some ways. Like I think it's funnier in that breastfeeding scene, like in the climactic moment where like you're watching like transmission of HIV and a sexual assault happen. Like for those two things to happen at the same time, it's like it's both a gut punch and a slap in the face, and you just want to say like fuck you to the people who made the movie.
Yeah.
Like it's so unnecessary.
It's also so goddamn long.
Yeah, I was gonna
like
say
that. I thought
yeah.
in my mind's eye, it's like a 30-second scene. But no, it's like a good like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Like we fucking get it. Like, you don't have to linger on this.
And we don't need angles.
Well, and something that like really frustrates me about this movie, and I guess this is like a stylistic nitpick, is like the way that it was received, and I think the way that the film is like sold is like it literally says it on the VHS here, a wake up call to the world, you know? And like Larry Clark's like photography style, like I think kind of treats it as if it's this like documentarian vibe, you know? But like I don't think that like some of the things that happen in this movie like are like kind of realistically representative of some of these experiences. They're like exaggerations of the things that like people go through. And I think that's the only function like of that, to create this very exaggerated representation of like what kinds of things that these kids are going through, which is exploitative and it's reductive and it's gross, you know?
Yeah, on that. Yeah, it's exactly like my biggest nitpick aside from that scene is literally just like like you said, it's shot almost in a like pseudo documentarian style.
Yeah.
It's not though. It's a fucking narrative movie.
Yeah.
And so I cannot look at this movie in any other way than an objective light. And so I'm like, oh, like at the end of the day, this is a like 40-something-year-old man saying, all right, now just really like rub her leg north to south. You're kind of going against the grain. We're gonna do another take. I didn't like that. So action. Like it's just fucking disgusting. And like the sheer exploitation of children and like just the sheer voyeuristic, too much skin, like cinematography, where there's just times where it's like we kind of get these like seductive lingers on thighs and crotches and this and that, and I'm like, it's like, yeah, but like I did a simple Google search and like that girl's like 16. Like that's fuck, I hate this.
Yeah. Let's see. Another note that I have, maybe just don't hire a 19-year-old skateboarder to write a movie about a disease that killed hundreds of thousands of people. I mentioned bell hooks like before we started actually recording, but like bell hooks, the feminist author, wrote about this film. She said that she was really interested to watch kids because it generated so much conversation about HIV. And she found it very reductive and ultimately kind of conservative, you know?
Yeah.
This is a movie about people being exposed to this like horrible thing that will like kind of destroy their lives or just change their lives, you know, depending on your perspective on HIV. And it doesn't really talk about like the socio-political context of HIV. It's just this scary thing that's corrupting our youth, you know? It's not like framing like this as a problem that can be solved. It's just a horrible thing people are going through.
Yeah, it's like reefer madness for AIDS, basically.
No, 10,000%.
Yeah, it was used as someone who grew up through the 80s and the beginning of it all. It was used as looking back at it now and looking at the history, it was used as a white scare tactic to where if you're good and you're white and you bake your cupcakes and your kids, it ain't ever going to touch you. But then those same people made this movie to make it look like, oh, it's scary and gross and like, not go into the actual how it hurts people, how it affects people's lives.
They're taking advantage of a real world issue and presenting it in a way that's really reductive and exploitative.
Yep.
To garner critical attention. Like that's my main take about the movie.
That's the edgelord bullshit. Yeah.
Let's see. The other pieces that I have here are like, I don't know, maybe just make something more vignette heavy and non-linear. Like my favorite parts of the film are the random Corinne-isms, like the performers in the subway and the montage at the end. Like Harmony Korine, I think his strengths really lie in like more kind of like freeform aesthetic stuff. I read a Letterboxd review of Julian Donkey Boy I really liked that described it as a fantastic TikTok channel. And my last note is I really would have liked more scenes of two bros pissing next to each other. That happens twice in the movie, and it was so separate from everything else. I really enjoyed it.
I got two little things. We'll move on. One is like an actual film thing. It's just so fucking meandering. Like when it's not going for the throat with shock value, it's boring.
Yeah.
Like literally, we have like. Yeah, a lot of just like dueling conversations and talking over one another, but no one's actually saying anything. And there's no actual like, it's not like there's no point being made. It's not like see how no one listens and da-da-da. It's just like oh no, you got some kids stoned and like put them in a room and they're just talking over one another. And it's just, I have to watch this now for 15 minutes.
Well, I think what's fascinating about the critical reception to this movie is that like the people who loved this are not the people who had that like quintessential like experience of being like a sketchy teenager. It was like the Roger Eberts at like the Sense and whatnot, who were like, "What's this world? This man has captured this world.
This man has lifted the rock and I get to see all the bugs scatter."
The kids aren't all right.
Yeah. And then my last one is a real nitpick. It's just the choice of playing a Daniel Johnston song over the assault of a black man is pretty upsetting. It's just like, I don't know. I enjoy Daniel Johnston and like I enjoy him being like an outsider artist and all these fun things. And I'm just like seeing documentary footage of that man and how he interacts with the world. I couldn't see him being like, hell yeah, like this is a great choice to, use my music. I sure do appreciate being put into a major motion picture. Thank you so much. Like, I think you would have the exact gut opposite reaction.
Right.
I'd hope so. It is crazy to think that this was a major motion picture.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Miramax, baby.
Was Harvey Weinstein involved in this?
Hell yeah, he
Was
was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw something like Disney owned this. For a
Yes.
second.
So this is not in the trivia, so I'm not spoiling anything for later. But basically, people wanted this movie, but they didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, from a corporate sense. So basically, Disney technically bought it.
Right.
And then they were like, well, we can't fucking do anything with it because we're Disney. So then Weinstein came in and created a shell company. And then they released the film through this shell company because technically Disney owns Miramax.
Right.
So it was just like, no, it's not a Miramax production. And then basically once everything cooled down, Miramax bought the rights to kids and redistributed it.
Right. Yeah. I think there is like an interesting rabbit hole that could be gone down with the way that studios and production companies and whatnot like will purchase something like this because like it's garnering attention, but then not want to be associated with it in terms of its brand and then like how it's actually distributed.
Yeah, there's also the tactic of keeping your competitors from having something interesting too. So so you can buy something and bury it just to keep it,
Yeah, I'm glad there wasn't like a Bug's Life versus Ants kind of situation.
Yeah, exactly. Some shithead CEO just chain smoking like, hear me out. We get Matthew Broderick in a slutty little tank and we just throw him out on the streets of Long Beach.
Oh my God. I could see it happening. I don't know.
They're crushing us. We gotta. Yeah.
Ugh.
Can we move on to our rainy day pairing?
Yes, we can.
Good. Okay. I'm going to go with Gummo.
Yeah, it's a fair one.
Just the same ick factor, but probably a little more entertaining, I would say.
Yeah, I'm excited to revisit Gummo. Yeah, I could totally see that. I had a couple different interpretations of this prompt. So the first one is like the question is, what movie would you watch with this film on a rainy day under blankets and snacks? Which is like, it's a comfy movie. This is not a comfy.
Oh
movie,
no.
You know?
No.
Yeah, I'd have to like pick like a personal comfort film to really like balance it out.
Oh, sure. I got you.
To compensate.
That makes sense. I like that.
This movie is like cleaning dog shit out of a mattress,
Yeah.
like, so it's a nasty chore to get through.
You don't want to do it, but you have to go to sleep.
Yes, exactly. But I Over the Garden Wall is like a very like comforting film for me. Yeah. But like in terms of like a movie that if I really wanted to like double feature something that had the vibe of this, 13 from 2003.
Hell yes.
Evan Rachel Wood, similar kind of like children getting into like drugs and sexual situations. And, I think that movie is better. It's the same kind of like look at what's going on with the kids, like scare tactic kind of thing. I think it's a little less gross and a little more extreme to the point where it's like kind of cartoonish, but similar vibes. Yeah.
Yeah. To quote my wife, ew, fuck off. Why are you doing kids? You should do 13. That's at least a movie.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard
I
of it.
agree. The woman who directed 13 did the Twilight movies. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, it's Catherine Hardwicke, I think is her name. Yeah. Like she's a real filmmaker. She's not like the guy who made Trash Humpers who wrote this fucking movie.
Yeah, I said mid-90s.
Sure.
Because it gets all the same motifs and themes across without the ugliness of this movie. Also, when I first saw mid-90s, I saw it in theaters, and I literally, the first thing that came out of my mouth was like, oh, thank God. We don't have to watch Kids ever again. I was like, because we just basically redid Kids, but made it very palatable and a movie.
Yeah.
It's an actual narrative. And again, like it deals with, it literally just like when you're at a party and someone's like, bro, dude, I hear you make music. What if you made this music that went dun 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 dun? Like that'd be so cool, right? And you're like, yeah, sure. And then you go home and you're like, okay, well, he was like kind of onto something, and then you just make a drum beat that goes dun to dun to dun. But then you layer things, and you have motif to the song, and you add lyrics, and you add bass guitar, and you add all these like little touches to it. It's like, yeah.
So mid-90s is a real song versus
some guy at a frat party cornering you and saying, I heard you make music.
Yeah,
Here's my idea for a song.
I agree with that. After deep diving Harmony Korine's work, I feel like a hot take I'll get more into later is like he doesn't really make movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Anyways, awesome. Like them. We'll go on to this movie's cocktail.
Yeah. For this movie, we have mad flavor, because all my girls got mad flavor, dog.
Oh.
We have 1.5 ounces of Charbay. That's right, we're still sponsored. Charbay Myer lemon vodka.
That's going to go over well. All right. 3
ounces of a cherry-flavored drink mix of your choosing. I actually couldn't find cherry flavor because I tried to find it, and they only sell fruit punch. So I got a fruit punch flavored drink mix. And then we have 3/4 ounce of a juice blend. We've got a little lemon, a little orange, a little lime. Mix all these ingredients together over ice and garnish with a tampon as you steal from your mother while she breastfeeds your younger siblings.
And smokes a cigarette. I forgot about that moment in the past 48 hours.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
it's all coming back now.
Drinks juice out of a tampon.
Thanks, Chuck. It was very. It tasted better than it sounded.
Good. That's what I always go for.
And the dead drop for this episode is Diving Suit Rubber Goodie Bag Pro. In the clinic, there's that one shot of the poster of all the condoms and all the code names that absolutely nobody has ever used for a condom. So I just wanted to put that Diving Suit. Mm-hmm. That's I want to use that in perpetuity. Just keep going.
Hey, girl, hold on a sec. Let me grab a diving suit.
Let me go get my diving suits. And then to get ready for the wintry freshness of Mace, because it's coming. And with that, we'll take our first ad break.
Ad break number 1. And we're back with everyone's favorite segment, Nostalgia Killers Trivia. It's time to see if our hosts know a thing or two about kids, or are about to hit the skids. All right, question number 1. Harmony Korine wrote the screenplay for Kids when he was 18 years old. Technically 19, apparently, according to Dante. My research said 18. Harmony Korine wrote the screenplay for Kids when he was 19 years old. Despite its off-the-cuff feel, the entire film is scripted, aside from what scene? Is it A, the girls describing their first sexual experiences, B, Casper doing whippets on Peter's couch, C, the pool scene, or D, the entirety of Steven's party?
I want to say A, because Harmony Korine doesn't know how to write women.
I would agree with that, but just to be different, I'm going to go with B.
That is correct. It is B.
Oh.
So, fun fact. Casper doing whippets was a quick little off the cuff oh, hey, that'd be a fun thing for the kids to do. And at the time, consumption of nitrous oxide by people under the age of 18 was not illegal.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So it was one of those things of this is totally fine. This is not a crime.
The past is a different country.
It really is.
I mean, at one time, cocaine was okay, right?
Yeah.
Heroin.
Lots of things have been okay in the past. The movie Kids being a a mainstream. It's not a mainstream. It's a major motion picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question number 3, because I just screwed the pooch on question number 2. I realized that I was oh, fun fact, and I was that was actually my, Speaking of whippets, true or false, did Justin Pierce, the actor who plays Casper, do whippets on set? Yes, he did.
He did.
He did, yes. I screwed the pooch on that. Both of y'all take a card on that.
Okay.
All right. Question number 3. Chloe Sveni was not Larry Clark's first choice for the role of Jenny. Why was the original actress fired? A, she stole from the cast and crew. B, she did not feel comfortable with the final scene and got cold feet when she was asked to actually film it. Or C, she was too experienced as an actress and made everyone else look bad.
Do you want to answer first, Luke?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to go with A because it's more fun.
I was going to go with C because that feels very real.
Ding, ding, ding. It is C. So the original actress, Mia Krishner, was originally cast as Jenny, but because she was the only actor with any prior experience in film, she was fired for not meshing with the rest of the cast.
You're too good at your job, Jenny.
Exactly. Jenny, I need more ums and ers.
It's a weird, I wonder at what point during production did they figure that out?
Right? Like, Jenny, quick little side note, you haven't said the N-word once.
Yeah.
God.
Question number 4. Leo Fitzpatrick had no prior acting experience. Why was he cast as the lead role of Telly? Was it A, he had a very public meltdown while trying to land a skateboard trick? B, he used to harass Larry Clark on the subway during his morning commutes? Or C, he's Harmony Korine's cousin?
I believe I read that A is true. C sounds accurate in terms of how this movie was cast, but I believe A is accurate.
I'm going to go with C.
It is A.
Ooh.
So yeah, he literally was skateboarding outside of one of the places they were scouting to shoot at, and he just basically, couldn't land a kickflip and lost it and just went on a swearing tirade and, was basically calling out people walking by him on the street and, doing the whole, like, it's your fault, like, I didn't land this kickflip, like, kind of thing, and this and that. And Larry's like, I think we got a star.
Yeah. I love teenagers. Teenagers are so fucking cool.
Question number 5, same question. With little to no acting experience prior to Kids, how was Rosario Dawson discovered? Was it A, Larry Clark saw her in a high school theater production? B, she lived on the same block that they were shooting on and Harmony Korine thought she was cute? Or C, she worked at a nearby bodega that Larry Clark used to frequent?
It's got to be that creepy fucking A. What's Larry Clark doing at a high school musical?
I think it's B, but I like the headcanon of A.
It is B. Harmony Korine thought she was super cute. She was always, looking out her window and smiling and waving and stuff while they were filming a, movie on her block.
And how old was she when this happened?
She was 15.
She was 15 years old.
There's a whole lot of her legs and thighs in this movie, which is fucking disgusting. Question... Gross. Question number 6. The film may have followed a script, but that was definitely not the story when it came to the shooting schedule of the movie. How did Larry Clark decide what scenes were going to be filmed each day? Is it A, whoever showed up was shot? B, the weather. If it was over 90 degrees, they shot the night scenes. Or C, if there were no cops around, they would shoot the larger group scenes outside.
I want to say, just vibes. I don't want to pick one of those. Weather?
Yeah, I was going to go the temperature thing, too. It's fucking hot there in the summer.
It was very hot, but it's actually A. So the cast were given beepers and would literally be paged an hour before they were due on set.
Huh.
And so if you didn't show up within 59 minutes, you were basically just like, all right, sick, we're not shooting you today. And so people would show up and be like, oh, hey, I got this pager. And it's like, yeah, you're 15 minutes late. We've moved on.
Expecting 15, 16, 17-year-olds to be
Punctuality.
Yeah.
That's silly.
That's crazy.
Question number 7. As the writer and script supervisor, Harmony Korine was on set every day. So Clark wanted him to act in the film because he actually showed up to work. What minor role does Harmony Korine play?
It's the, you're going to...
I was going to list some, but if you know it, you know it.
It's the kid with the Coke bottle glasses. Is he the one who roofies Chloe Sevigny? God damn it.
So, ding, ding, ding. That's right. He is the boy that gives Jenny, quote unquote, a euphoric blockbuster, but it's actually roofies.
He's fully using a black scent in that whole scene too. It's Jesus.
Question number 8, true or false? The opening sex scene of the movie was the first scene ever filmed.
False.
False.
Unfortunately, it is true. Larry Clark really wanted to set the tone and show his cast and crew exactly the type of film they were shooting, so he picked that one as a starting point.
I thought he would have filmed the final sexual assault so that it was like, once you do that, you can't have the movie cut from under you.
Don't worry, Luke, that's question number 9.
God damn it.
Question number 9. Why was the infamous final scene of Casper and Jenny almost cut from the film? A, it was the only scene that held kids back from having an R rating. B, pressure from Miramax, ironically, specifically from Harvey Weinstein. Or C, the audio was extremely hard to edit due to the scene taking place on a very noisy leather couch.
C is a hilarious answer to this. I think it's B. I think I read that.
I'm going to go with B.
It's actually C.
Oh.
So the audio was almost unusable because of all the squinching and squatching of the leather. And so they literally had to meticulously rework the audio
That would have
instead of calling the actors back to do ADR.
That's a weird choice.
They had to put effort into this movie.
They had to put effort into this movie. The only effort came
That's
into
art
that.
right there, man. That's
Yeah.
fucking art.
And finally, question 10, since I screwed the pooch on question number 2. One scene actually was cut from the film for being too extreme. What was it? Is it A, Casper smoking crack with a lecherous older man? B, a scene of a small boy walking in on his parents during an S&M act? Or C, Telly having sex with a girl even younger than Darcy?
It's probably C, unfortunately. I feel like Harmony Korine didn't get into his weird shit until Gummo.
Yeah, I would pick A.
It's actually B.
God damn.
So there was a scene that was written and shot of a small boy walking in on his parents during an S&M act, and the young boy thinks that his father is actually trying to harm his mother. So he stabs him with a kitchen knife and kills him. And that was meant to be the cold open of the movie.
Oh.
So you're supposed to see 2 adults having sex and then a young boy murder his father. And then it's just dunna kids.
There's in a review that I read of Julian Donkey Boy, there's a specific phrasing. They say that this visual doesn't make much of an argument to be included in this film, and that's how I feel about that. The rest of the film doesn't match up with that as a cold open at all. I mean, what they went with, I do feel like is pretty cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
you.
thanks for playing.
Thank you very much, Chuck. I think my my 2 cards to Dante didn't even pick some of the ones you won. So
Oh,
yeah.
you won trivia.
hooray! I did a bunch of homework. I went on a Harmony Korine deep dive.
I know. I saw your text and I was like, he's going to win trivia. He's also going to have better trivia than I did.
That brings us to, I would like to thank our executive producer, Addie Martinez.
Producers, we love them. And that's all I'm going to say from that quote.
Thank you, Addie. Addie supports us every month by giving $15 to our Patreon. If you too would like to have your name shouted out on an episode or all the episodes that you executive produce, you too can join Addie by donating $15 a month on Patreon and then completely forgetting about it
Yeah,
because you never notice it missing.
exactly.
But we enjoy it.
Also, if you join us on Patreon, you might be able to find out if the Nostalgia Killers have disc dick.
God damn it. And with that, we'll take our second ad break.
Ad break number 2.
And we're back with Act 3, the award categories, where we always start with my new band name. Lots to choose from, I think, on this film, movie, experience.
Ride, if you will.
Yeah. What do you guys have?
The best one that came to my brain, I'm not going to enjoy saying this out loud. Chloe Sevigny AIDS Clinic. They are a mathcore band. I don't know if y'all know about the Tony Danza tap dance extravaganza. Yeah. It's that kind of vibe. I came up with a couple others. That's my probably my best one, unfortunately.
So my band is Big Hitman. They're a hardcore band with their hit song Gertie, I Want to Buy You Corn Dogs.
Oh, that's on one of mine too.
And it's off of their album 3 Pennies and a Ball of Lint.
Nice. I got Ecstasy, Feeling the Effectasy with their hit song, I Want to Buy You a Corn Dog. There's a lot of funny quotes in this, a lot of things that stand out, things I specifically remember from high school. Now that after I'm watching the movie, I'm realizing, oh, that's what they were saying so long ago. But I did not want to linger on this film so long to come up with more. So we'll move on to our Roger Deakins Would Be Proud Award for cinematography. There's again a lot to. I hate the word praise when it comes to kids, but there's lots of praise in this. I think I liked the long distance walk and talks with Tully and Casper. Hard to accomplish. I don't know if they ADR'd or if they just had like wireless mics in different places. There's some of the walks where they are being followed by somebody who might have also had a microphone. But there's quite a bit of it, and it's rather difficult to achieve when you're filming guerrilla style. You don't have permits or whatever. So I was kind of impressed.
Yeah, I actually just really enjoy the scene, like I mentioned earlier, where the two groups of kids are like talking about like their sexual experiences, and it keeps cutting back and forth. Like I enjoyed the editing in that moment. Like I thought it was clear in like what it was trying to accomplish, like showing how different these like groups of kids are understanding these kinds of experiences.
First and foremost, I just want to like not a shot, but like I just want to shout out like the color grading of this movie. Like I really love like it, just watching it, like whatever film stock they used, whatever method they used, I was just like, like everything's just so, for such a cold, ugly movie, everything's so warm.
Yeah.
And then as far as actual shots go, yeah, like, say what you will about Larry Clark, he's a pervert, but man is a photographer. He knows how to frame something up. So like,
yeah.
There's some really iconic shots, like the shot of Telly, Casper, and his crew walking down the island in between highways. Like that shot stands out in my mind. Unfortunately, the intro shot of Telly and the very young girl kissing is just like perfectly framed and perfectly lit, and it's a beautiful scene. And then the shot of Jenny as she's waiting for her test results, framed through the clinic window while the woman is like, testing her blood or scoring her little sheet or whatever she's doing at the time.
Yeah, as far as the color grading goes, I don't think they did any. I think you're just looking at the raw film stock that they chose.
Okay, it's just beautiful film stock then.
There's not a whole. I don't think they had a whole lot of money to do like post processing on this. This is before digital, so it's like it's a chemical thing if you're going to do it. But I think you're just looking at like a really good film stock and a good, I want to say 16 millimeter camera. I don't know if they use 32 or not, or 35 rather. But yeah, I can agree. I like the film aesthetic of it.
Yeah, I mean, it ultimately like is like an it's assemblage of like aesthetic images. Like it works in that capacity. Things are well composed. Things are well arranged. Yeah.
Yeah. On to Is That Channing Tatum in a Dog Color Award for having all three of us have the same person.
Exactly.
Strangely, it took me a minute after watching it to realize who it was, and then I eventually looked him up. But yeah, John Abrams.
Yeah, John Abrams.
So what was the film that you both like associated him most heavily with, and why was it Scary Movie?
Yeah, Scary Movie. Yeah.
When I first saw him, I thought he was Billy Loomis from Scream, like whatever that actor's name was. Like I mixed the two of them up. So it took me a minute to figure out who he was. And then I had a fun time like looking through his filmography and learning. So this was his debut, I believe. And then Scary Movie was probably his most successful film. I don't know, I'd have to look closer. But a recent film that he was in was Terrifier 3.
Weird.
And like I had this image upon learning that of like going to someone's house for the first time and seeing they've got 3 Blu-rays, and those Blu-rays are Kids, Scary Movie, and Terrifier 3.
Oh my God!
Someone's a John Abrams fan.
I was going to say I know this exact person, and they are wearing a like long sleeve Rick and Morty sweater, and their house smells of cats, but you don't see a cat.
Yeah. They've got like a beaten up Prius that used to belong to their mom, but it's got like a personalized license plate that says X Joker X on it.
Yes.
Yeah, hell yeah.
They own at least one Funko Pop.
At least.
Hey, that's what we give away on this channel. Don't make fun of Funko Pops.
Well, since we all had the same Channing Tatum, I just also want to quickly just shout out Casper. I wish I was a better host. Hold on. I'm a great host. Wait a minute. I have his name written down in the trivia. His name is Justin Pierce. Justin Pierce is also, at least in my heart, famously from Next Friday.
Oh, right.
He plays Roach. Yeah. He's the little skateboarder friend of Craig and Day Day. But yeah.
Yeah. Did you read more of what happened?
Yes.
To that
Yes. I
person?
was very bummed.
We don't have to go there.
That's okay. Yeah. Two members of this cast are no longer with us. Yeah.
Yeah. Who else are no longer with us?
Harold. So the African American gentleman who's in the swimming pool
helicopter
scene
guy?
where he's doing the helicopter with his penis.
Right.
Yeah, he also had a very
2006.
yeah.
Cocaine overdose.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
But he was a professional skateboarder, like throughout the entire from before kids up to then.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
just
highly debated whether or not it was just like the life of being a professional skateboarder or if it was, fallout of being in this movie as a child.
Yeah. Totally. Well, that's a bummer review of people who are in this movie. Yeah.
Did not think it was very kind to include them in the trivia with that, so I did not do a question on that.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. On to Guy Pearce's trash, a controversial hot take, which I got to say, I was burnt out at the end of this movie. Didn't write one.
Understandable.
That's fair.
I wrote the words "fuck this movie." I don't think that's a hot take, though,
No.
in any way, shape, or form.
No, but it's a worthy inclusion. For sure.
I think that what Bell Hooks had to say about this movie was probably the hottest take that I've seen, which was just to say that it was conservative. It was very conservative in how it talked about Bell Hooks.
When you pointed out the quote on the box on the VHS, a wake up call to all the world, I thought that was by Oprah.
Oh,
I could have sworn
see
that's just some other Times writer, but
by Jeanette Maslin. I don't know who that is.
but that's like that was the attitude. Like the people who championed this movie never watched it. Didn't
Or the people who like watched it and championed it, like don't have real empathy for the people who are
Very true.
experiencing these kinds of things.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I think a take that I could make an argument for is like, it's kind of boring. Like we spoke on this a minute ago, but it's like, I didn't find this shocking. Like I've seen a lot of like edgelord films. Like I've seen a lot of stuff that's like pretty disturbing. And then, we didn't mention this during intros, but like I work in social services. I work with like kids who were like getting into scrapes and getting into crazy stuff. And I found the way that this movie is really dehumanizing and reductive of its characters, like, offensive and insulting, but not in like a, oh my God, pearl clutching kind of way.
Yeah.
It's like these kids like are more interesting than this movie represents them to be. And it's just boring from like a writing standpoint, There's a lot more going on with these characters than like this film is at all interested in.
I think that might have been the force of the narrative being forced upon all the people. If it was just a documentary, it would be far more interesting, maybe shocking.
Yeah, but then like people wouldn't care as much because it's
I
not
guess.
exploiting
it's
them.
It's harder for Oprah to sell it.
Did Oprah sell this movie?
I'm pretty sure she did a thing on it. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah. I think she had Kareen on.
That's crazy.
I believe we could probably. I don't think we can find the episode because she's been pulling all of her stuff from the internet. But
Speaking of that, real quick non sequitur. Have you guys seen the infamous David Letterman interviews of Harmony Korine?
No.
They're so good. So there's like a compilation for sure that's like all three of them together. But he's been on the show like pretty sure 3 times minimum. But he was like one of the only people that's ever been banned from David Letterman. And
I think I did hear about that.
yeah, the reason why he was banned is because he was backstage just like high as a kite going through other guests' purses.
Yeah.
And David Letterman himself walked in on Harmony Korine going through a guest's purse and was just like, nope, you're done. You're gone. Never again. Like also security, like throw this man out now.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a fucking trash thing to get fucking booted off Letterman for.
Every time I see Harmony Korine, he's got a look on his face that looks like he's at a party and he just shit himself and he's like kind of happy about it, you know? So I'm not surprised to hear that story.
That meme of the guy in the corner, like they don't know, kind of like they don't know. I just shit myself. And it's like, yes, we do. We can smell it. But back on topic, my hot take is I don't think kids should be rated NC-17. I think that anyone over 17 that watches this movie should be put on a fucking list, myself included. Because as a teenager watching an edgy teenager movie, I was like, oh, whoa, this is like trying to say something. This is crazy. Da-da-da. But like as a grown up, I'm like, oh no, this is just like exploitative garbage. And I fucking hate this.
Totally. This is the kind of movie that like an edgy 16-year-old seeks out and has permissive parents who aren't going to stop him.
Exactly.
You know? I wanted to read a couple things that are on the tape that I find really interesting. So at the bottom of the front cover, you've got this warning that says, this critically acclaimed film is for mature audiences only. Parental discretion is advised. Which feels like a gimmick, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like it's trying to trick people into watching it.
For sure.
And then I noticed that it says it's unrated on the back, so it doesn't even have an NC-17, at least on this.
Yeah. So again, not done in trivia. Miramax fought tooth and nail when they acquired it to remove the NC-17 rating and get it unrated.
Fascinating.
Because it had already done a because I think you cannot be a film and have a theatrical run with an unrating. You have to be rated. So it was post, basically. So when it was distributed, it was okay, cool. We can take away the big ugly rated X basically.
Right.
Gotcha. Fascinating.
On to Blue Velvet meets Blue's Clues. What film would you mash this movie up with?
I went with some low hanging fruit. I said Kids meets Friday the 13th.
Okay. Yeah.
So picture
one
this.
solution, yeah.
We're at an abstinence themed all girls camp that's under attack by a masked slasher. All of the campers assume that they're destined to be the final girl due to their chastity and their virtue. All of a sudden, Telly shows up one night, sneaks over on a raft from the boys' camp, and ruins everything.
I think that might be a tougher watch than this even. Let's see. Okay, I didn't entirely understand the question, I guess. So my interpretation of it was a little bit off. Some of the stuff I was thinking about in responding to this is how I feel like the only real redeeming quality of this movie is that it's this anthropological artifact of this very specific 90s edgelord art house aesthetic that we've kind of talked about a little bit. So let's see. In mashing it up with something, in combining it with something else, what I was thinking about is it's got a very specific point of view on a very specific topic. And that topic is young people existing within a system that doesn't care about them and kind of lets them loose to effectively do things that are really self-destructive, right? But Kids has this really nihilistic perspective to it where these kids are just gonna kill themselves basically. They're gonna create all this trauma, yada yada, because no one cares about them and there's nothing we can do about it really. It's an existential hell of a movie. So in thinking about other films that are kind of playing around with that, It Follows came to mind, similar sort of slasher vibe. But there's a movie that feels like it's way on the other end of the spectrum when it comes to young people in a certain kind of setting where they're kind of being let loose to do things that are self-destructive. It's a more contemporary film. Kids feels like a very white movie and it's from a very specific time period. This movie is a black movie. It's a streaming film versus indie, art housey, looking for critical acclaim kind of vibe. They cloned Tyrone. To mind. Yeah. Have you seen that one?
I love that movie.
Yeah. And my thought process is so Kids is it's all fucked. It's all bad. It's the wake up call that things are really terrible. Whereas they cloned Tyrone is things are bad. It's by design. There's something we can do about it, you know? So I don't really think it would make sense to like mash them up, but like to double feature them to show like different perspectives on the way that like young people are set up to fail.
Sure.
I think
Sure,
it'd
you
be
don't want to mash
interesting.
up? You don't want clones taking on the AIDS epidemic?
No, God. I would love to watch John Boyega beat the shit out of Telly, though. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, that kind of leads into mine, which is I didn't write one down, but I just have like this picture in my mind of Tully being pushed down the flight of stairs, and it's just on loop over and over for like half an hour. I could watch that, Just like from a walk up, let it down all the stairs.
Maybe to go back to hot takes, I do have a thought around that, if I can like dig into that
Sure.
a little bit. Yeah. In like reading about this movie, there's something I mentioned earlier, which is that Telly was nominated for like AFI's like top 100 cinema villains. And there's a lot of hate like directed towards that kid, understandably so.
Yeah.
Like he's predatory, he's spreading HIV. He's a little shit. Like,
Yeah.
he's a great representation of like being a little shit. He's also a child who has like not been set up for success in any way, shape, or form, and has been raised to be like misogynistic and yada yada yada. Like his character is like intensely tragic, like, and he does not understand the harm that he's causing. So like
He also has no idea he's HIV positive.
he has no idea. Yeah,
For a year.
yeah.
So that's like an understated thing. Is like when Jenny's talking about it, she's saying last year they had sex.
Right. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. It's like, fuck.
That kid is in for like a rude fucking awakening.
And every person he's touched.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's why I'm okay with the stairs thing.
I get that as a reaction. Yeah. It's, for kids, like anyone who's like young and doesn't know, if they're creating harm like that, I really try to like hold space for like, it's a failure of the system,
Oh, yeah.
that, like they
There's
don't
no
know
doubt.
how to navigate all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. That's a hot take.
I'm gonna do it. Any a la cartes? We didn't do any, huh?
We already talked about it. We can cut this out. I just did like Harmony Korine playing a role in it for the Michael C. Morona. But yeah,
Oh, gotcha. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even think of that. I didn't know that was him. I didn't realize. He looks like a little shit too.
yeah, exactly.
He is a little shit. He's like 19, 20.
Oh God.
yeah.
Right on. This might be contentious, but do we call Jules and Vincent?
I'd kill this fucking movie right away.
Yeah. Shut it the fuck down.
I let it live.
Whoa.
Is it good? No. Is there anybody redeemable in it? Hardly. Maybe some of the more innocent girls, But is this a fucking cultural cornerstone?
Oh, absolutely.
Unfortunately.
That's why I'm letting it live. That's
Yeah.
the only reason. Because this is like, even though it misrepresents shit, it's not good at delivering its message. It was a speed bump for society for a moment, and that's why I'm going to let it live.
I think I'm also going to kill it because I feel like we've, like, as I touched on with mid-90s and a couple other movies like 13 and things like that, I think although this movie was groundbreaking for what it was, I think we have watched it and been like, fuck, what if we just like, we can just polish that turd a little bit. And I think like other directors and writers have found more nuanced ways to tell this idea and this story.
Oh yeah, I was going to continue to say, if you ever make me watch this again, we're gonna have words.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, I did apologize to you. The second I finished this movie, I was like, Luke, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you did, but I had already watched it.
You guys are going to do like a sequel series to this podcast 10 years
We're
later.
going to do the Re-Kids. Yeah.
Well, you're going to do every individual episode again.
Right? But that being said, I would love to do a sequel episode and do Gummo because that movie is also.
I don't even think that's a sequel thing. That deserves its own episode.
No. I know.
Sure,
I meant like I would just love.
We should keep doing.
Yeah.
I would love to watch Gummo with y'all. It was crazy to me to think about how long I've been like interested in Harmony Korine. But like how I just didn't really revisit his stuff like after seeing Gummo. Like watching Trash Humpers over the weekend and realizing that, I've been interested in this film for like 16 years and that was a waste of energy. I think kill it. It's I find it offensive, just and again, not in like a pearl clutching way, and like
Didn't do its job. It didn't do the right thing.
no, it's and something that happens in different forms of media that are like interested in exploring like controversial themes is it'll represent those things in ways that are like exaggerated and eye-catching and ultimately like inaccurate,
Yeah.
It'll get a conversation going, but it'll get a conversation that's not really like attuned or productive necessarily. Yeah, I don't think that like, presenting something to movie-going audiences that, maybe they weren't familiar with or getting some conversation started is enough to justify something like this.
Sure.
Yeah, so shut it down. Also, like, we got to deal with Harmony Korine because of this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Trash Humpers exists because of this.
Technically, Brown Bunny exists because of this.
Yes.
So also, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. We don't have to do that one, do we?
No, I've never seen it, and I have no nostalgia for
I have no intention of watching that
Vincent
one.
Gallo getting his dick sucked.
Yeah, no.
We'll just go to Gomo and see how it goes.
Yeah, I'll call it.
Pluggables? Anyone? Anything going on?
So I don't have any media creative things going on. I got the go ahead from Chuck to give a plug to Sonoma County's premier HIV prevention and support services.
Thank you. Awesome.
Organization. Let's see. Face to Face. They are a nonprofit founded in 1983. They are dedicated to supporting the health and well-being of Sonoma County residents through essential health and support services. They offer free and confidential HIV testing, prevention education, and harm reduction services with a commitment to dignity and non-judgmental care. Face to Face emphasizes HIV prevention through programs like PrEP education, syringe exchange, and safe use resources. With a focus on accessible care, they operate an eco-friendly mobile van to reach underserved populations and work to eliminate stigma, fostering a healthier, more informed community. Through these programs, Face to Face has provided thousands of doses of naloxone, 24/7 vending machines, events, and in-house services. Their diverse staff prioritizes the unique needs of marginalized populations, including those living with HIV, LGBTQ individuals, and monolingual Spanish speakers, ensuring everyone can access the care they need. They are located on 2nd Street in Santa Rosa, California. Let's see, their website is f2f.org. And if you would like to spend an hour and a half of your life in a way that is way more productive than watching kids, go on their website, get a little familiar, learn about Narcan if you'd like. And yeah, that's my plug.
Thank you. I was just going to say, you brought all the value to this episode. And that one little spiel right there. I feel so much better about doing this.
I don't know. There's an artist in Oakland who I've seen a handful of times who talks about like being offended is the first step to a conversation. And like, sure, like, shut up. Let's just talk about resources. Like, I'm never going to watch this movie again. Like, go to Face to Face and learn about how to support people with HIV a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll do the world better.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That was awesome. That's we need more of that. Maybe we should make that a segment.
I was going to say, speaking more of that, you know what this country needs help with more than anything is their prenatal health care, pre-everything health care. Please, please, please donate to your local Planned Parenthood as well. Because you know how you fix the movie Kids? You nip it in the bud. Make the little fuckers, either healthy and well taken care of or non-existent, depending on how you view this movie.
Use them.
So yeah, please, please, please donate to Planned Parenthood.
Use them diving suits.
Exactly. They give you free diving suits when you walk in. You don't even have to like say hello. They just throw diving suits at you. So
it's
yeah,
just there. The longer I've worked in social services and nonprofits, the more movies like this are just like creatively pathetic to me. It's like, while Harmony Korine and Larry Clark were making this film, there were people trying to stop this in the streets of New York.
Yeah.
Oh, also, that is a fun trivia bit. So literally while they were shooting this movie, Planned Parenthood and a few other agencies in New York City were literally handing out free condoms and doing massive events in the parks that they were filming in. And Harmony Korine and Larry Clark were annoyed because it's like, oh, we have to pause filming because like these fucking like SJWs are like basically ruining the shoot.
But it's a wake up call to the world.
Yeah.
Who's gonna save the kids?
Social services, that's who.
Jesus.
I'm like reminded right now of The Dark Knight Returns, the Batman comic, where there's that like psychiatrist who tries to like rehabilitate the Joker and it immediately goes wrong. And it's like such a conservative way to like, you're just sneaking in this idea that rehabilitation doesn't work. Same thing with this movie. It's like they have the clinics, but it like doesn't stop the kids from giving each other HIV, you know?
That's because condoms are like fucking stupid, dude.
Uh-huh.
I love that. Like, there's a bit like where it's like, do you use condoms? And then it's like, nah, they suck. And then we just move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think kids have a lot more capacity than that.
Yeah.
You know? It's so mean-spirited towards kids. Yeah.
All right, on to our Sonic Death Monkey top 5. Our top 5 all-time uncomfortable watches, which I feel like I could have done better on if I wasn't so traumatized by this movie already. I could have thought back to like the cringiest moments sitting through other movies. Mm-hmm. But I think I have a pretty good list.
I'm very happy with my list. Yeah.
And then also, because you've never been on the show, we do round robin it.
We go around.
So we do number 5, number 4, number 3, number 2.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and start with mine. Number 5, Videodrome.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I did not watch this until I was, 30-something, probably like 10 years ago. I didn't even realize it really existed. Someone recommended it to me.
Probably me.
Might have been you. But yeah, fucking...
That one I don't apologize for. That one's fun.
That's a great movie. It's a beautiful film.
Kids, I will apologize.
But I was uncomfortable, and that's the prompt. So it's...
I will share. I brought 6, but I'm gonna kind of go in like order of what I think is the lowest and versus highest. It is a film that Chuck introduced me to a long time ago. It's The Evil Within by Andrew Getty from 2017.
Oh.
Yeah, you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a copy of it on DVD a while ago. It's still awful. It's very uncomfortable. It's another like anthropological artifact kind of watch for me. God,
You're welcome.
no, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
My number 5 also was brought by a friend. My number 5 is Earthlings. So with those not familiar, it is the quote-unquote vegetarian maker. So it's a very lengthy documentary about the mistreatment of animals around the world. A vegan friend of mine sat me down to watch it. And when we sat down to watch it, they would not let me speak until the film was over. And then afterwards, anytime I was just like, it was like, nope, you didn't get the concept of the film. You didn't understand the purpose of it. And they angrily took their DVD and left me with the horrifying images that I had just seen. They also left me with my very empty fridge and freezer because I was, broke. And so I had to go shopping. And, after watching this terrible movie and the way that the system is set up, I had to buy, one vegetable, and then I had to buy some meat because that's what I had the money to buy because they were frozen chicken tenders that were way more affordable than bananas. So yeah, Earthlings.
Okay. My number 4, Antichrist.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not so much the porn stuff, but the baby going over.
Oh yeah.
That was
I haven't seen it. All I know about it is the Willem Dafoe's massive hog thing.
there's stand-ins, but yeah.
Well,
one can dream.
His hog was too massive, is
Yeah.
my understanding. So they had to use a stand-in because it was disturbing.
He is unfathomably large.
Let's see. My number 4 recent movie that I love, 2024's The Coffee Table.
Yes. That was on my top 10, actually.
Yeah, huge
so
fan
good.
of The Coffee Table. It's very, very good. Realizing I should explain my picks. I read a review of The Coffee Table that referred to it as the most disturbing episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That's exactly what it is.
No spoilers, but something horrendous and very embarrassing happens to a family man within 5 minutes of being left alone to care for his child for the first time. And he spends the rest of the film trying to clean it up. And it's Oh my God, it's awful. And it's really funny also.
It's so funny. I did not know about this review. I have literally pitched this movie to anyone I'm trying to recommend it to. I say, it's like Larry David wrote a Gaspar Noé movie.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah.
It has no right being that funny.
A friend of mine who has family ties to Pixar told his mom to watch this movie, and she did, and she liked it.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what's going on there, but
Pixar's got taste. That's what's going on.
2025 Pixar's The Coffee Tape.
Exactly.
I can actually imagine it in like the Pixar style.
My number 4 is Last House on the Left. So, little context, I, was dating this girl, and like we went down to the local video store. We're gonna rent like a fun, cheeky horror movie and like put it on and make out and stuff. So like we put on this horror movie and we start making out and stuff. And we're just like, oh my God, like, so into each other. And we're just like, oh my God, like, who's there? And it's like, oh, clutching each other, like just teenage love bug kind of fun stuff. And then there's a fucking sexual assault out of nowhere that I should have read the back of the film. Apparently that's just why it's The Last House on the left. Yeah, there's a sexual assault that happens. Instantly mood killer, instant cooler. Girlfriend is like, I gotta go home. And so then I'm just left holding the bag, watching this very poorly made, like 70s rape fantasy, basically. And fuck Last House on the Left.
It's such a bummer when you like put on a movie and like either you don't know or maybe you like forget that there's like one scene that like I put on Castle Freak for some friends of mine a couple of years ago, and I forgot about the one scene and we had to pause the movie.
Jesus.
Too much.
My number 3, Gummo.
Yeah.
Just
very fair.
It's got images that are burned into my brain that will never go away. And we'll definitely do that.
I'm excited to revisit it. I learned that Werner Herzog said the fried bacon taped to the wall knocked him out of his chair.
I can picture him saying
No, absolutely. Yeah, his scenes in Julian Donkey Boy are fantastic. But let's see. My next one is I really tried to avoid like explicitly edgelord cinema with this and like pick movies that like really just get under my skin. Slither by James Gunn, 2006. Okay. It's a zombie movie with horrible trauma like vibes and aesthetic to it. It's slithery, it's slimy. There's like a weird kind of like sexual vibe to the way that some of the like zombies are created that is like real. Like it's like I think about like Michael Rooker with tentacles and like there's like a moaning happening. Like it's one of the most disturbing things that I feel like I've ever seen in film. I feel like I have to like take a shower every time I watch it. But it's also like, it's not like a Serbian film where it's like, it's just trying to ruin your day. You know, like there is some fun to it. It is like very well written. So in terms of it being a top 5 uncomfortable watch, it's one that I go back to.
Yeah, my number 3, similar ground. My number 3 is the 2006 remake of The Hills Have Eyes.
Sure.
So I, was a young lad, hanging out with some friends. They're going to go see this horror movie. I'm like, sick. I know nothing about it. I'm going to roll the biggest blunt I've ever seen in my life. And so I just get like stoned out of my gourd and I go into the cinema and I get to see yet again a goddamn big screen sexual assault scene that makes me incredibly uncomfortable. I'm sitting next to 2 really close female friends and just like gripping my seat, like pie-eyed, stoned out of my gourd, like just lightly apologizing to them. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Why are you sorry? Oh no. Am I not supposed to be sorry? Oh God, have I taken, and just like going like so introspective and like, have I just taken on the entire brunt of this movie? Like, did I make this movie? What is happening? And then just like all of a sudden I blink and it's like, we're at the end credits. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even watch the movie. I just sat there like thinking about the sexual assault scene and how uncomfortable it had made me at the time. And
yeah, there's something I think to be said about that and the way that horror movies use sexual assault for like shock, but there's also like a fetishy aspect to it. Like, it just sucks.
Yeah, it's
like,
not a good time.
It's a bummer. Just don't do it.
I don't want to see your fucking rape revenge movie.
Fantasy.
I really don't want to.
No.
Yeah. My number 2 is one that it's uncomfortable to watch. It like burns my soul, but I also respect the hell out of it. It's Mad God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Phil Tippett.
Totally.
This I can watch for 5 minutes. I can totally respect all the work that goes into it, but it's just so bleak and dark and yeah,
Gooey.
gooey. But I love it for all the work that went into it. But man, after like 30 minutes, I had to take a break.
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
Shudder, the streaming app, they do like a ghoul log instead of like a Yule log. They have a Mad God themed one.
Oh,
which
awesome.
I think that's
fun.
wonderful. Yeah, my number 2, I think Julia mentioned this one on like an old episode of y'all's, Suicide Club from 2001 by Sion Sono. Again, it's not like an edgelordy movie. It's not like an extreme horror in your face, so like fucked up, blah kind of thing. But yeah, it's about effectively this like epidemic of like mass suicides within like Japanese teenagers, and the way that they're like egging each other on and talking about it as if it's this fun thing they're gonna do, and then they all jump off a building, and then it's played very straight from then on is so tonally disturbing and uncomfortable. It makes me like giddy to think about. Like, it's so effective. And like, I feel like that movie did what Kids was trying to do in some ways, in like calling attention to like suicide rates, like in Japan at the time. Yeah. Whereas Kids is more exploitative. That movie is more cartoonish in how it gets its point across.
My number 2 is Requiem for a Dream. And the reason why is I had seen it once, like, long time ago. And then a year or two after I had seen it, I decided to take an edible and watch it. Nightmare.
You got to stop doing this to yourself.
Never, ever in my... I don't smoke weed anymore. Like, I'm done. We've broken up. Like, marijuana and I are not on speaking terms. But yeah, I ever, like, just basically been just catapulted into a fucking like dare program. I was like, I'm part of the problem. I'm never smoking anything. I'm never sniffing anything. I'm never popping anything. No, I am just like, this is it. We're on the straight and narrow for the rest of our lives. And I'm just like fucking literally weeping as they're like cutting off Jared Leto's arm. And I'm just like, oh yeah, it was a bad time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I can get behind that one.
We've like created this like pantheon of like drug and other things scare tactic movies. Like, imagine like watching Kids 13 and Requiem for a Dream like back to back to back. Like,
Oh yeah, let's try that double feature at the Roxy.
Right.
oh,
See who shows up. Then arrest them.
And then, yeah, I was going to say, then put them on a list. Yeah.
lock the door.
My number 1 is a movie I've been thinking about getting my friends to watch, but I'm really scared. Is Parents.
Oh, is that the
Randy Quaid.
it's like I don't want to say like the concept because it's spoiler.
It does spoil it. I don't want to spoil it,
I won't spoil it.
but it is. I rewatched it recently to be sure whether or not I wanted to share it with people who I trust. Like, and I don't want you to watch it.
Okay.
Oh wow.
It's on Tubi, ladies and gentlemen, theys and thems.
It may be a nothing burger. It may be something like you watch it and go, oh, that's fucking nothing. But it is filmed so uncomfortably. Have you seen it?
I haven't. No, I'm going to. Based off of
This is an ad.
It's worth watching, just to know that it exists, much like Kids. But yeah, that's my number 1.
I've been curious about that one for a long time. Yeah.
It's worth it. I'll say if like I don't want to present it to a bunch of people who I don't want to disturb.
Right.
It is very disturbing.
Totally. let's see. My number one. Okay, so I came up with 6. These are my top of the list, so I'm gonna tie them. One of my favorite movies ever made. It's in my Letterboxd top 4. Pink Flamingos by John Waters.
I almost picked that. Yeah.
It's so good. In that movie, you're gonna see some sexual assaulty type stuff that's unfortunate. It's also just bizarre, and every time friends of mine watch it, that's the thing that like is upsetting to them. You're also gonna see a man's gaping asshole. You're also gonna see a drag queen eat dog shit. Like, you're gonna see some stuff, and
you're gonna see an actual blowjob, all kinds of fun.
Oh yeah, like an incest blowjob. Yeah, it's really really rough, but also there's such this like joy and like community theater vibe to it. They're just in your face and they're screaming, and it's like, witness us. It's so aesthetically fun and interesting and hilarious. I love Pink Flamingos. And then my other pick is 2001's The Piano Teacher with Isabel Huppert. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that.
I am aware.
I've seen it like a year or two ago. Have you seen it, Luke?
No.
It's wonderful. It's basically just about like a very uptight French woman who is, masterful, like as like a piano teacher, effectively. And she has kind of got this like secret other life as just a person with very intense, like masochistic, like sexual interests. And so like a good chunk of the movie is just kind of following her around as she's like exploring these sexual interests. And it is really rough. Like, it doesn't like go into a space of being like, exploitative, like, super, super, super gross in terms of the things that she's interested in. The film does go some like dark places ultimately, and it has to do with like her agency as like a sexual creature, and yada yada. But yeah, it's you'll just kind of turn a corner with this woman, and she'll do something, and you go like, oh my god, what the fuck? It's great. I recommend it if you have a stomach for that sort of thing. Yeah.
All right, noted.
My number one is a very silly number one. My number one is Not Another Teen Movie. And the context of that is I saw this film in theaters. But when I saw this film in theaters, I was only 13. So I was not allowed in alone.
Okay.
So I saw Not Another Teen
boy.
Movie with my mother.
Wow.
I had to sit right next to my mom with that opening masturbation scene and like all of the, like, ha ha ha, like shove a carrot up his ass kind of stuff going on. And
It was a banana, but yeah.
It was a banana, yes.
Beautiful.
But yes.
Apples and oranges.
Exactly. Man, I had to watch that and then like,
Another Randy Quaid movie.
yeah, coyly like look over to my mother, who's just like also looking at me, just like, oh, we're here because of you. You know that, right? Like, you wanted to see this movie. You needed parental guidance. I'm sorry. I'm here.
It's a good like take on that prompt, like top 5 uncomfortable watches. I didn't think about like the times that I've been uncomfortable watching something.
That's what I thought of. I thought of times I was uncomfortable. Yeah.
I was thinking of that too. Like, what movie did I watch with my parents where all of a sudden they just start fucking or something, and I have to sit through that next to my. But yeah.
Totally. I think if I was going to go with that interpretation, I once showed the film Anna and the Apocalypse to like some old roommates of mine, and they just hated it immediately and just shit talked it the whole time, and then gave me like an honest review of like my taste in film afterwards.
I love that it's not an honest review of the movie. It's an honest review of you and your aesthetic.
Yeah, they looked at me and they were like, so that was a bad pick, Dante. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Anna and the Apocalypse. It's not a serious film. It's like,
it's like a musical, right?
Zombie Christmas high school musical.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun. It's cute. People like it. If it's not your thing, that's fine.
Very good. We got some movies to avoid, some to check out. How do I do this?
I think it's blue.
No, it's this one.
Oh.
That brings us to the end of our show. If you're still listening, thank you for listening. I've been Luc Londe.
I have been Chuck Starzenski.
I have been Dante.
And we have been the Nostalgia Killers.
Bang, bang.